Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo welcome back to Prithu Prabhu.
Hare
Krishna. As many of you may know, he had an accident which may come to any of us at any time in our lives when he was in Spain, is that right? And your schedule was changed considerably due to the unexpected, well, you can't say that really, unpredictable event, and you had to stay 6 weeks? 6 weeks in Spain?
No, 3, but that's sufficient.
Only 3 in Spain. A very short recovery period. So, Hare Krishna, and thank you all for coming this morning. Some of you are coming on the retreat, is that right? With the devotees from Manchester and London and here and there. And some of us, we all hope you have a treat anyway, whatever type of treat it is. Retreat, or some of you are having a treat in the prasadam room right now. I hope they're saving prasad for you, gentlemen. Where are we here? I believe deck 64, I'm told today, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, a few verses with no purpose. Can I repeat? Etat. Kamsaya Bhagavan Shishamsa Abhyetya Naradaha Bhumehe Bharayamananam Daityanam Cha Vada Udyamam Etat Kamsaya Bhagavan Shasham Sabhyetya Naradaha Bhume Bharayamananam Daityanam Cha Vadyodhyamam Etat Kamsaya Bhagavan Shasham Sabhyetya Naradaha Bhume Bharayamananam Daityanam Cha Vadyodhyamam
Etat Kamsaya Bhagavan Shasham Sabhyetya Naradaha Bhume Bharayamananam Daityanam Cha Vadyodhyamam
Etat Kamsaya Bhagavan Chamsha Sabhyeta Naradaha Bhume Bharayamananam Daityanam Cha Vadhodyamam
Etat Kamsaya Bhagavan Shasham Sabhyeta Naradaha Bhume Bharayamananam Daityanam Cha Vadhodyamam
Ladies.
Etat Kamsaya Bhagavan Shasham Sabhyeta Naradaha Bhume Bharayamananam Daityanam Cha Vadhodyamam Etat Kamsaya Bhagavan Shasham Sabhyeta Naradaha Tata.
Now we might need a French translation for mice and probably anybody else needs a translation. Yes, two. Who would like to do that? There are two devotees who would need a French translation. Are you up to it, Nitai? Maybe you can sit with them just there in front of Prabhupada. If you move back a little bit there. And then to the young lady there who needs a translation also. Sorry about that. No, you can stay there and they'll come back to you. Just there. There we go. So gather around as much as you can. Etat.
Etat.
All these words about the Yadu family, and Vrishni family, Kamsaya, unto King Kamsa, Bhagavan, the most powerful representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shashanksa, informed Kamsa, who was in doubt, Abhyetya, after approaching him, Naradaha, the great sage Narada, Bhumehe, on the surface of the earth, Parayamananam, of those who were a burden, Daityanam, and of the demons, Vada Ujjamam, the endeavor to kill. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Once, the great saint Narada approached Kamsa and informed him of how the demoniac persons who were a great burden on the earth were going to be killed. Thus, Kamsa was placed into great fear and doubt. Purport. Listen carefully. It has already been discussed that Mother Earth implored, appealed to, begged, approached with all humility, please help. She implored. Interesting, the earth is not just a lump of matter. There's a spirit booming, alive. It's like her body. Implored Lord Brahma to give her relief from the distress created by the burdensome demons. And that Lord Brahma informed her that Lord Krishna himself was going to appear. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 4:8, some of you may like to chant along if you know. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Whenever there is a burden created by the demons, and wherever the innocent devotees are distressed by demoniac rulers, the Lord appears in due course of time to kill the demons with the assistance of his real representatives, who are technically called demigods. In the Upanishads, it is stated that the demigods are different parts of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So again, listen carefully if you can. We're going to ask you some questions. nice way to try to imbibe or to, digest the subject matter. As it is the duty of the parts of the body to serve the whole, it is the duty of Krishna's devotees to serve Krishna as he wants. Krishna's business is to kill the demons. And therefore this should be a devotee's business also. Are we ready? Because the people of Kali Yuga, that means the age that we're living in, are fallen, however, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said, known for those who don't know, most merciful form of Krishna who appeared in this age to give love of God. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, out of his kindness to them, did not bring any weapon to kill them. Rather, by spreading Krishna consciousness, love of Krishna, he wanted to kill their what?
Demonic mentality.
What? Their nefarious, demoniac activities, very mischievous, very unfortunate, unbeneficial, very nasty activities. This is the purpose of the Krishna consciousness movement. Unless the demoniac activities on the surface of the world are diminished or vanquished, no one can be happy. The program for the conditioned soul is fully described in the Bhagavad Gita, and one simply has to follow these instructions to become happy. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was therefore prescribed, this is not a verse from the Bhagavad Gita, it's from another scripture called the Brihat Naradiya Purana. Famous verse, and many of us know it, of course, together if you wish. Hari Nama, Hari Nama, Hare Nama Eva Kevalam, Kalo Nasyeva, 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 Katiram Yatam. Who knows what that means? It doesn't actually give a translation to it. Who knows what it means?
In the age of Kali, there's no other means to elevate yourself in Krishna consciousness other than chanting the holy name of the Lord.
A shortened version. Manchester, I think. There is no other way, there is no other way, there is no other way. 3 times repeated that. In this age of Kali, there is no other way, no other way, no other way other than chanting the holy name, chanting the holy name, chanting the holy name. There are many other ways. Every way we can say, as Krishna himself says that in the Bhagavad Gita, everyone follows my path. People choose other ways, but ultimately, if we want the perfection of life, this is the only way. In this age of Kali, is chanting the holy name. Let people chant, Prabhupada continues. Let people chant the Hare Krishna mantra constantly. Then their demoniac tendencies will be killed. And they will become first-class devotees. Happy in this life and in the next. Om Jnana Timarandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshoram Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Yadati Swapadantikam. So, just to make it easier for you, I'll tell a little story first, and then we'll go back to the questions. That will make it more difficult, of course, because you'll have forgotten by now. As this verse is referring to Narada Muni, if you don't know who Narada Muni is, you can look it up and find out, of course, but he's an eternal servant of Krishna. He has a very special role. He's much more efficient than modern day social media. He knows exactly what to present where and when to achieve Krishna's purposes. We don't know that. He sometimes puts things out there at the wrong time for the wrong person and the wrong thing also. And we have a big mess on our hands. But he's absolutely tuned in to the will of the Lord, as mentioned in the purport. So, it's very mystical. But at the beginning of this age of Kali, just at the onset of this materialist age which we're in, it says, Janananda Samhita and in other places, scriptures, that Narada Muni was feeling very, very concerned. What was his concern? This is indirectly mentioned in the purport, but not directly. What was his concern?
How people will be delivered in Kali Yuga?
Yes, this age is coming. He could understand the characteristics of Kali Yuga. Manda Samanda Matayo Manda Babu Padrutaha. This age which we're in is very unfortunate age. People are very lazy, quarrelsome, misguided, and very disturbed. Kali Yuga. Age of quarrel, age of hypocrisy, age of materialism. You could go on and on. The symptoms are described in the 12th canto if you want to hear more detail. So he was very concerned. Being a devotee of Krishna, the nature of a devotee of Krishna is Vancha Kalpa Turubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Yaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo. What is he? Ocean of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. Yes, unending compassion. Not just because people are physically suffering, that's going on all the time in this universe. But particularly because the living entity is in this material world, suffering repeated birth and death, with no, in most cases, no particular urgency, no particular inclination to bring this to an end. So the devotees are constantly trying to awaken, every one of us, awaken us to a real self-interest, which is spiritual. Self means spiritual. The body is only like a dress, a temporary dress which we're wearing. The mind is another one, a subtle one. But the living entity within, tamasi ma jyotirgamaha, to wake up the living entity, to bring the living entity out of darkness into light. This is the principle of a Vaishnava. He's not interested, he suffers. A Vaishnava suffers called paradukha. It means he suffers because of the suffering of others, not his own. Not even because of the physical suffering, that's also related. But primarily we're suffering in this world, which we'll discuss a little later. But Narada Muni was feeling like this. He could see the impending, oncoming effects of Kali Yuga, and he was feeling greatly sad for the difficulty that living entities would be undergoing in this age. So he personally went to Dwarka. Dwarka was this is Krishna still on the planet at this point in time. Krishna was residing in his own city named Dwarka, which geographically is in present-day Gujarat. And there he went to see him with his concern. Krishna could see his concern and asked him, "You look very disturbed. What is your disturb? Why are you so disturbed?" Then he revealed his reason. So Krishna then, it's a long story, we'll cut it short. He said that, "Don't worry. Very soon, in this age of Kali, I myself will be appearing to bestow upon living entities what never has been bestowed before. Pure love of God. Don't worry. In this particular Kali Yuga, it is great, most fortunate of all ages. You please go now everywhere to all the residents of the heavenly planets. You go everywhere, wherever you wish, to spread this good news, the good tidings." So, he, as we mentioned earlier, he didn't use a mobile phone. It would have been one way of doing it nowadays, good tidings. It's nice to put some good tidings on there. But he did. He has this amazing capacity. Huh? How does he travel? Does he travel on Ryanair? Narayan, I call it Narayan Air. Yes, in a sense he does travel on Narayan Air, doesn't he? He's a worshipper of Narayan. So he goes everywhere on Narayan Air. The real Narayan Air. Irish airline, like a cattle truck that takes you here and there if you're lucky. Or unlucky. Yes, he travels because he's a great devotee of Lord Narayan. He simply sings the glories of Lord Narayan. Om Namo Narayanaya Narada Muni Prajaya Vina Radhika Ramana Namne. He's traveling everywhere, glorifying the Lord. And specifically, how does he evoke this, say, appearance wherever he desires to be? How does he do it? You have to work hard. If you want to go to somewhere for your holiday, you've got to work, you've got to get money, you've got to get a visa maybe, you've got to get a ticket, you've got to do so many things.
He flies on the vibrations of the Veena.
The Veena. He plays this amazing instrument. Many of you are familiar with the Veena. Beautiful musical instrument. Can you play the Veena? Can you play the Veena? Maybe one day you'll learn. Very musical devotee. And he just by sound vibration can go wherever he wants, basically. Even the spiritual, he's even, Krishna allows him to go anywhere. Material world, spiritual world, wherever. So he went everywhere, spreading the good tidings. Everyone's very happy. And he even went to the spiritual world, and he wanted to see Radha and Krishna. He went to Goloka Vrindavan. And there he saw Radha and Krishna. Then, before his very eyes, long story cut short, Radha and Krishna transformed themselves into one form. A beautiful, golden, effulgent form, known as Gauranga. Many of you have heard of Gauranga. It means literally golden limbs, literally. One who has a golden form. Not an ordinary golden form. This form looks like gold, but it's transcendental form. Effulgence, unlimited. The original form of Godhead, not different than Radha and Krishna. Known as Gauranga. Narada Muni fell prostrated ecstasy at the feet of Gauranga. Gauranga lifted him up and assured him, "Don't worry, I will be appearing in this form in Kali Yuga." And in this form, he said, with the chopper, use the word, like axe, chopper, as we just heard, kill. One of Krishna's reasons for appearing is to remove the demoniac forces. So he'll appear with the chopper of what? Not a helicopter. The chopper of what? Of Nama Sankirtan. the chopper of Nam Sankirtan. And with this chopper, I will kill all the demoniac activities of the conditioned soul. The root of that, of course, is our mentality. In other words, with Sankirtan, you can change your mentality. What is our mentality? Our mentality, we may think what we may think, but all of us are possessed of demoniac mentality. We'll get into that a little more later. And he said, and anyone who escapes from this, from my chopper, he said, what did he say? They may escape and run to foreign lands like France, England, United Kingdom, whatever you call it, even Manchester. With the chopper of Nam Sankirtan, it will remove all the demoniac mentality. But some may escape. They may run and hide somewhere in these far distant countries in the Western Hemisphere, wherever it may be these days. What will he do? I will send more Senapati Bhakta, which means?
Prabhupada.
It literally means Prabhupada. What does it mean? No, it means Prabhupada. What does it literally mean?
Commander-in-Chief.
My chief field commander. He's not coming. When you have a war or something, you may have an army or something like that. You have a chief field commander, general or something or another. So he sends his chief one, who go all over the world preaching this Sankirtan, and will deliver all people in foreign lands. We see this is predicted many times in different places. This will happen in Kali Yuga. Mantru Pashaka is mentioned elsewhere. This one who worships the holy name will go everywhere and will convert people in far distant lands to devotional service. And they will come to India, Mayapur, and there they will embrace their Bengali devotees of Krishna. We are also chanting the holy names, please accept us. And they will dance together, singing the holy name. Jai Sachinandana, Jai Sachinandana, Jai Sachinandana, Jai Sachinandana. This is predictions. And we can see that this is happening. Sure, the demoniac forces seem to be, what can I say, ever rising. At the same time, the flag of Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement is ever rising too, isn't it? Yes. And it's our privilege, our opportunity to carry that flag, that Jaya Pataka. Who better than Jaya Pataka Maharaj, one of our senior most devotees? I mean, my God, whatever one may think, I don't know anyone on this planet who's determined to spread this movement like him. His body is more than dead. Isn't it? I mean, how many times he should have dead, I do not know. Right now he's like, in the IC, and please say a good word, because his only desire is to see Sankirtan spread all over the world. And he never stops. He never stops. Anyway, I better get on, otherwise we won't reach the point. Well, this is part of the point, of course. So then, Narada Muni in ecstasy, swoon in ecstasy, and of course then that Gauranga form appeared in this age. So that's just a little story related to this subject matter. Now we're going to ask you some questions. I've already given pretty much clues, answers. What did you get from this purport? Did you remember anything from the purport or the verse? Did you remember anything? Who would like to put their hand up and say something that stuck out in your heart? Anything stuck out? Yes. What is your name? Pardon? Catherine. Catherine.
So the demigods are the body parts of Krishna to express devotion service.
They are the
body parts.
Body parts, okay.
Krishna to
Good point, and a very important point, which can be interpreted in different ways. But we're all Evansa Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. We're all Krishna's part and parcels. Now, making it simple, we have a body. The body has many components. They're all meant to serve the central purpose, right? Whatever that is. That may be understood differently by different conditions solved. But they serve our will. That's the idea. If you want something, let's say right now, I want to drink a cup of water. What will I do? Just simply think about it?
Pick it up.
Well, you have to have it first, of course. You have to make the endeavour to get it, right? It so happens, by chance only, there is a cup of water sitting right in front of me. Maybe because I desire to suddenly manifest it. Power of my desires. Anyway, somehow or another, I don't know, maybe God knows. The water is here. Now what will I do?
Grab it.
You grab your glass?
Grab my glasses?
No. The glass.
Oh,
The cup.
the cup. It's funny how people outside of England call this a glass. We would not call this a glass in England. It's a cup. A steel cup. A glass is a glass. At least it used to be. Maybe it's changed. Something made of glass. Not a steel cup, or whatever you call it. But anyway, I get the point. A glass. Okay. Now, are you aware of this? Just finish this off a minute. Are you aware of this? How does it work? You're not even, it happens almost spontaneously. Just a second. Almost spontaneously. A message, some another. Incredible system we have. Just by that desire, whoop. You're not like thinking, okay, shoulder, tell the arm. Arm, pass the message to the hand. Hand, tell the fingers. Fingers, move forward. Move forward, right? Open up. Come on, no, further. Oh, come on, thumb, come quickly. I'm thirsty. Now, close the gap. Boom. Now, pick it up. Lift it to the mouth, not the feet. To the mouth. Put it towards the mouth.
Open the mouth.
Oh, open your mouth. Come on, mouth. Open up. Come on, open. Come on, in. Well done, everybody. Yeah, you think, they're just amazing. It's incredible what's going on behind the scenes. Amazing. It's out of our thought patterns. These things are going on. It's doing it again. Look. That was good. Do it again. We can all imagine what would happen if the hand acted independently. Okay, I want a cup of water. Okay, here you go. Want a cup of water? Here we go. Independent. That's what's happening in the universe. We're all independently trying to act in one sense from our relationship with Krishna. This is a very important point. We're all part and parcel of Krishna. And those who realize their position as part and parcel of Krishna, what do they do? What do they do? Do they ask God, please God, give me a nice house? God, please get rid of my enemies. God, make me the king of the universe. Give me a nice girl. Money. Is that what they do? What do they do? Huh?
They surrender.
They surrender. That's a pretty heavy word, isn't it? Surrender or I'll shoot you. Some people have that idea of God, if you don't surrender, you will rot eternally in hell. We get that a lot when we go on Sankirtan. I don't know if you ever noticed that. British religious people coming up, screaming at you, you're gonna rot in hell! You're gonna rot in hell! It's a good advertisement. When anyone sees that, they kind of get clearly obvious that I'd rather be one of those guys than one of those guys. It's a fact. People, they look like. Anyway, so what will the part and parcel do? If we realize who we are, what will we do? We will serve. And how will we serve? Do it the way we want or not? The hand can say, look, I'm serving you. Can say, well, you know, if it's independent, it can say like that, but what does it mean to surrender, to serve?
En donnant ce qu'il attend, parce qu'il attend ce qu'il veut. By giving him what he wants.
Perfect. But it says in the purport. That's what a demigod is. They work to fulfill the will of Krishna. There's a lot more to that, but that's the basic understanding. We find out, what does Krishna want, isn't it? What does he want? We may not want that. Our conditioning, sometimes we don't like it. Kids, they don't like to go to school, they rather play, usually. Parents sometimes have to, somehow or another, convince them it's for your good. It's a little different, it's not exactly related to God directly, but it's the same principle. We don't want to do it. We don't like to surrender, do we? Not really. I mean, maybe we're a little more advanced and we understood the principle more. But generally, we don't like to surrender. We're self-centered generally. I did it my way. Remember that song?
Frank Sinatra.
Frank Sinatra, yeah, Frank Sinatra. I did it my way. I went to hell my way. I suffered my way. It's not even my way. Krishna even rewards that. We may desire like that. Krishna rewards us, or whatever you want to call it, accordingly. So the devotee finds out, what does Krishna want? And we may or may not be able to do it, but we have the desire to act according to the will of Krishna. Other factors are involved. So that's one important point. To play our part, materially also, by the way, and some of you here are trying to, another pioneering front of our movement, farming and varnashram, etc. It's a cutting edge front of our movement. It's also understood that playing our part designated to us by the Lord is important, even on a material platform. Ishopanishad Prabhupada says, warns us to play the part designated to us by the Lord and not to imitate. Tendency in Kali Yuga particularly to imitate, due to false ego or social pressures or whatever it may be. But to find our part and to play it nicely. What else is there in this purport?
If demons chant Hare Krishna constantly, they will become a devotees.
Yes, if demoniac demons, if we look at it in a broader sense of the term, there are certain persons who will not. But here referring to persons who are under demoniac influences for whatever reason, somehow or another chant the holy name of Krishna, there will be a transformation. It may take time because we're in a very colored situation where we are exposed to so much. Even we heard here, Kamsa, for instance, he felt a little remorse on a few occasions for his activity. In a particular case here, Narada Muni is informing him. I've not been tracking the exact chronology here, but in one occasion he informed him like this. On one occasion, after Vasudeva had brought his first child to him, Kamsa's heart melted a little bit. He said, you don't need to worry, you take him home. And then I think it was at that occasion that Narada Muni came and said, look, don't be like this. You have to be careful. I just come from the heavenly planets, and I heard them having an istagosti up there. And they were discussing that we will all appear in the various families of the Yadu, Vrishni and Bhoja dynasties with the intention of killing all the demons, including Kamsa. Well, the Lord himself was the 8th child to do that, of course. So when Narada said, don't take it for granted, Kamsa, you don't know who these people are. Take precautions. So then Kamsa changed his policy on the spot and was killing everyone he could who he thought was a threat to him. Anyway, this went on, and on another occasion, maybe when the 8th child, when Durga Devi appeared in the sky and everything like that, he felt completely remorseful, but then by association with his demoniac ministers, he changed his tune again. That happens very easily by association. So important. So a very nice point there, that transformation of consciousness by association. It may take a little while, but that's the essential point of this purport. And how is that evoked? What else is there in this purport? Any other points? I mean, I mentioned it, but it's in the purport, so it can be mentioned again. Very significant point. Yes?
And the devotees need to help the Lord to kill the demoniac mentality.
Yes, it's the purpose. What did Prabhupada say here? Yes. I can't find it. So your short purport is won't bring any weapon, rather by spreading Krishna consciousness, he wanted to kill the nefarious demonic. This, yes, here it is, 2 pages. Krishna comes in this form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu along with his associates to kill the demoniac propensities. Not to kill people, in terms of physically speaking, but to kill the demoniac mentality which causes us to act in such, what can we say, ways, sinful ways, selfish ways, cruel ways, demoniac ways, to change the mentality. It's not just a question of enforcement, surrender. It's not a question of, changing from one to the other, but it's a change of our perception. Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj said that actually there's no question, you've heard it before, of anyone being able to reform this world. You can't do it. Everything is going on by the hand of the Lord, excellently and perfectly. What needs to be changed is not the world around us, but how we perceive it. It's our consciousness which needs to be changed. Automatically, everything else will be adjusted. We will lose interest in trying to exploit this world. You know what our greatest enemy is? People who talk, in this case, Kamsa is scared stiff of his supposed enemy. Isn't it? What is our greatest enemy?
Our mind.
Our self. Depends how you interpret. Our mind. Depends where our mind's at. It may be our greatest friend.
Lost.
It's not the mind itself, is it?
False feedback.
Uncontrolled mind. Yeah, you could say that. Prahlad Maharaj mentions that. Yes?
They're scared of losing control over their life.
Fear of losing. There are many we may think as our enemies. Ignorance! Stated many times. Prabhupada states it, it's stated in Bhagavad Gita, it's stated by Jiva Goswami, all over the place. This is the root cause of everything else. Srila Prabhupada says, in one place, I try to find, I can't find, but I have it somewhere in notes, but, you know, the greatest sin, and he mentioned different things, by the way, in different places, according to time and circumstance, but as a general point, this goes beyond time and circumstance. The greatest sin in this world is to what's the greatest sin?
To forget Krishna.
That's going back beyond it, but within this world.
Not know ourselves.
Pardon? That's ignorance. So the greatest sin is to think you're the body. Doesn't sound like a sin, does it? But from that, all other activities come. Subtle and gross bodies. Identification. Ignorance again. Behind it all is ignorance, which means to forget Krishna, or two. One place that Prabhupada said the greatest sin is to think that Krishna's body is material. He says different things according to time and circumstance, but generally speaking it's this ignorance, which is all pervading, or even in our lives. We're not beyond ignorance. I'm not anyway. I don't know about you. Who is fixed in Shuddha Sattva, pure goodness, beyond the effects of the modes of nature, unconditioned, not controlled by the restless mind. Within that category we see, and this is directly related to this pastime, the sons of Devaki who were killed by Kamsa. You may know the history. Who those sons were, 6 of them were killed by Kamsa. Who are they?
Maroots.
Huh?
Sadhyavas?
Yeah, they're asuras, Satasuras. They're the 6 asuras. They're demoniac, in one sense. They were the grandsons of Hiranyakashipu, who appeared in the womb of Devaki. Previous to that, they were sons of a sage named Marichi. And in the beginning of creation, and they represent
5 senses.
Huh?
5 senses.
Good suggestion, but not quite right. There are 6 of them, so one of maybe the mind you could say. But they represent, what do they represent? These 6 sons.
6 enemy.
Excuse me? Yes. Lust. These are our enemies. Lust. Doesn't Krishna say that in Bhagavad Gita? Kama Esha, Koda Esha, Rajaguna Samudbhavaha. If you've read it, there is in the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And he also tells us how to deal with these enemies. With spiritual strength, spiritual knowledge, realization ultimately. So lust is one. What else?
Anger.
Anger. Now think about it. Have any of you ever been, let's say, associated with these enemies? Have you ever been lusty? Guess you have to know what lust means first before you can answer that. Sometimes we think it's just a sexual, emotion of some kind. It's not. Lust is very pervasive. It can literally mean, if we're on the bodily platform of life, seeing anything in this world as an object of my pleasure. Anything. Even a potato. So be careful when you're out there in the field here, okay? Don't get lusty over those potatoes, right? Yeah. Whoa, I love my potatoes. Baked potatoes! Someone cooked baked potatoes. I was immediately lusting over those baked potatoes. They're extreme, but seeing oneself as the enjoyer. Seeing oneself as the enjoyer. Lust. What else?
Greed?
Yeah, anyone been affected by, someone said anger. Has anyone ever become angry? There's good reasons, not so good reasons for becoming angry, you could say. But sometimes, it's me, someone's upsetting me, someone's offending me, somebody's getting in my way, somebody's, that's usually not such a good reason to become angry. There are other reasons that are good reasons, but generally the bad reasons affect us sometimes. Anger. Get angry over nothing sometimes. We're just angry. Greed. Anyone had any tendency to be greedy? Yes or yes? In what way? Pardon? Overeating. Okay, I guess that's a good one. Ah, no, it's interesting. I guess you're hungry as right now. What does it mean? Sometimes we don't have a clue what it means. We just say these prayers sometimes. We have no idea what we're saying half the time. Samsara Dava. Now wake up, Krishna. It's time to wake up. I'm singing to you. Pranaya Karana. Listen to me sing. Pranaya Karana Ganaga Natam. Look up what it means, huh? What does Sarivada Vidya tell me? It means food, right? It means now is it time to eat. Does it have a meaning? Huh? Yeah, it is. It's quite related to the topic. This body is a lump of ignorance. Just abbreviating it here. And?
Senses are one's deadly enemies.
Huh? The tongue is the number one enemy. Of all the senses, the tongue is the most voracious and difficult to control. Hard to control the tongue. Speak out. Now we write it out. Speak it out before you know it. Oh my goodness, why did I say that? Overeat. This time he has a tongue. There's two things, eating, speaking. Quite voracious. And what's another one? So that's
envy.
Well, that's a big, deep one, isn't it? Envy. Envy. What is envy? The name of a computer, isn't it? What is it?
Jealous.
Jealous is a mild form, which is not so brutal. It's a kind of a manifestation of a direct situation that you may be in. Envy is really deep. Oh, you looked it up. Well done. That's a sign of intelligence. Yes.
Envy is to be happy seeing someone distressed.
To what?
To be happy seeing someone distressed.
Okay, that's a very practical definition, isn't it? There's other aspects to it. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings like this, doesn't he? That my happiness is when I see others unhappy. And my unhappiness is when I see others happy. We may not think like that, but there's sometimes an element of that. It may not be so absolute, but an element may be there. And it's taken even further. That a devotee, as we heard already from Narada Muni, he's Paraduka Dukhi, he's always unhappy for the suffering of others.
I heard Ravindra Sarup say that the mode of ignorance is, it's not enough to succeed for you, others must fail.
It's not enough.
It's not enough for me to succeed,
others
must fail.
Interesting.
But the mode of passion, you succeed, others can also succeed. It's okay.
As long as they don't stop you succeeding too.
Yeah.
As long as they don't override you. Yeah. The modes of nature are very interesting. Very, very overwhelming. Complex. Very complex how one who is conditioned in this world perceives. The world, perceives ourselves, perceives others, perceives the situation we're in, even how we perceive devotional service. big topic. Anything else?
Illusion.
Fault finding.
Illusion.
Fault finding, another distinct manifestation of envy. Fault finding, no time. This is one of the criticize, even thinking critically of others, envious of others, belittling towards others. Envy has a very broad, even Prabhupada describes how even meat eating is a manifestation of envy. Sometimes you may wonder, what's that got to do with envy? Cruelty, ignorance, lust, greed. But what is it to do with envy?
I want what you have.
Yes. Yes, that's the, you could say practical understanding. Somebody has got something, I want it for my pleasure, in whatever way we can. The poor innocent animal doesn't have any concepts like that perhaps, it's just according to his conditioning. But we in a human life are supposed to have a little evolved intelligence to understand the effects of our activity, but we don't. We also act like an animal and act many times by impulse. And to exploit or behave in a way which is really nothing much different than that of an animal. Just following their conditioning, their sensual drives, sensual drives. Another expansion of these 6 enemies. Yes, envy, big topic. One last point on envy, okay. Envy only, please.
Another reason why meat eating is also seen in a jealous way is because there are Shaivite groups who use black magic of eating animals and even eating people, because it's believed that eating another person or an animal is absorb their power into your own. And so it's that kind of jealousy of stealing someone's energy by eating them.
That's a very specific point, something which most of us probably are not familiar with, but it's a specific point to show how far it can go, to exploit others for one's own purposes, one's own endeavor or means. Vaishnava doesn't do that. Even if in a position of guru or sannyasi or whatever, it is exploiting people for our own aggrandizement or purposes. Not at all. Not at all. That should not be the case. Not at all. That's another topic. Thank you. Okay, what's the other? There are 2 more enemies that haven't been killed yet.
Illusion. Illusion.
I can't hear it. Madness. What does madness mean? I'm not mad. What are you calling me mad? You're mad. Not me. You must be mad for calling me mad. I'm not mad. I'm not mad. You're all convinced I am mad right now, I'm sure. In this class, you know I am mad. What is madness?
To think that
Give an example.
To think
Well, the
something
president is mad.
Oh yeah, well that's kind of a general statement, but specific.
to think Prabhupada says is summum of ignorance.
Huh?
It's the summum of ignorance.
Summum. The summum. Summum of ignorance. What is it? Give it a practical aspect. Can we give a practical aspect?
We think we are something which we are not.
Okay, that's one thing. That can be related, they're all related of course, to another one of the enemies, but specifically on madness. It's true. That's mad to think you're something you're not. It's also moho, an illusion. It's madness. I mean, anyone, in that case, a good little example. I don't know if you have them in France, but in Malaysia, it's a common thing. You come to a roundabout. Oh, we saw one guy, where's Janananda? We saw one guy in London the other day, right? On the street, in Oxford Street. Remember that guy? There was a bus, at the traffic lights on Oxford Street. And there's one guy just stood right back up against the bus. He wouldn't move. He just stood there. Everyone's honking their horns. The bus couldn't move. He was stood right in front of the bus. He would have run him over. No, the guy was just stood there. And for about 5 minutes he was stood there. Everyone was looking. And then he got away from the bus and just laid in the middle of the road. They're all over the place. Some of them are doing it purposely with plan. There's also another madness. And some are actually out of control. They're mad. There are people in Malaysia especially, I've seen maybe other places, they stand in the roundabout, they're telling everyone to go the opposite way. They're like, making everyone go the opposite way around the roundabout. And things like this. They're mad. Mad people. So that's one thing. Identifying, and if you go on the street now, in Luce Lamal, and you meet in Luce Lamal, who lives in Luce Lamal? Sundar Gopal Prabhu. Who else lives there? Be careful. You see Sundar Gopal on the street. Hi, boss, Sundar Prabhu. How are you doing? I am Jesus Christ. Walks up to the hall. He's there with his arm in a sling or whatever else. I am Napoleon Bonaparte. Funny joke, Sundar. Joke? This is not a joke. I am. God, I think Sundar's going a bit crazy. What's happened? Been in Luce Lamal too long. Better move to a Kie. This guy's mad. You don't pay, this too. But we're all doing that. Everyone in the world is doing that, right? Who are you?
Luce le Mad.
Luce le Mad. Lucy the Mad. Lucy the Mad. We're all doing it. Huh? This is me. I'm this body. I'm this body. What's your name again?
Ramesh.
Huh?
Ramesh.
Ramesh? I'm Ramesh. Maybe you are, it's a spiritual name. But say your name is, I don't know, Fred. I'm Fred. I'm Fred. I'm Indian. I'm Fred. I'm Indian. Common name in India, Fred, isn't it? I'm Fred. I'm a student. I'm studying. What are you studying? Maths. I'm a maths student. I'm doing my masters. You doing your masters? No, you're not doing your masters. Okay. What are you doing?
I'm going to start college.
Oh, he's going to start. I'm about to go to I'm a university student. I'm Fred. I'm from India. Well, no, I'm born in England. But I'm Indian. I'm Indian. I'm a man. I'm a man. I'm 19 years old. How old are you?
16.
16? You're an early starter. 16 years old. We give all these. This is madness. This is not us. Crazy, eh? Mad. What's another madness?
Distraction.
Distraction can be seen as a madness.
Isn't it in the 10 offenses? The word means distraction,
there.
also madness and distraction.
What is it? Pramada. The word mad is in pramada, actually. Pramada.
What about suicide? Is that madness?
It is another form of madness, yeah. Another form of madness, more general.
To be attached to something it is world.
Something what?
To be attached on something it is world. Attachment.
Attachment, yeah, you could say that, but taking that further, a form of madness described in the Bhagavatam, although sufficiently experienced, we do the same damn thing again and again. You know it's not going to bring you what you want, but you do it again and again. And everyone else, you see everyone else doing it, and it's not working, I can do it.
Like smoking.
Huh?
Like smoking.
Smoking is a good example. Drinking, anything practically, everything practically, if you get down to it. I can just try, well, maybe this time it will work, maybe this time it will work, maybe this time it will work. Maybe it won't happen to me, happen to everyone else. As what did Yudhisthira say to Krishna in the lake of death when he was tested there? What Yudhisthira said to the action. What did he say?
Everyone around us is dying, but we think we will never die.
This is pretty mad, isn't it? Every single creature, living entity, call it what you will, every cell is dying. But it will not happen to me. I will not let it happen. We can conquer the universe. This idea that we can conquer nature is another madness. This is described by Chanaka Pandit, isn't it? You can't conquer anything. But if you conquer your senses, you conquered everything. Because he's not quite a devotee, there's more to it than that. But that's the principle. We can't even conquer our senses. And the last one, illusion, we've already more or less touched on. These are our enemies. What is that illusion? We've already said it's quite simple, isn't it? It's related to madness, isn't it? We're thinking we're something we're not. We're in illusion about who we are. We're in illusion about the absolute truth. We're in ignorance. It's basically a king with ignorance, an illusion. On all levels we're ignorant. As to what is even devotional service sometimes we're ignorant. And the one stop or the one process given here of rectifying or changing this conditioning, being under the control of our enemies, considering them our friends, is what? Mentioned in the purport, the main point of the purport.
To chant constantly.
Pardon?
To chant the holy name constantly.
Simply, constantly. This is it. Kingvadvadnudinam. It's ignorance. In the nectar of instruction, I can't remember the verse, I never memorized that. How did you get that verse go? 7? It refers to just as a man who's suffering from jaundice, everything tastes bitter. Even sugar candy tastes bitter. But the cure for jaundice is to take sugar. It's one of the cures. But it tastes horrible. Similarly, one who's infected with the disease of ignorance, this topic of chanting and hearing may not be very attractive. But, if we hear and chant carefully and regularly, the disease will be cured at the root, not just on the surface. We have to go to the root. And the root is that ignorance. It has to be rooted out. Not enough just to cut, anyone who's in the garden, you cut down the weeds, they grow up again, because the root is still in the ground. The root has to be uprooted. Right? Careful and regular. In fact, it means constant chanting, not just regular. Constant. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is our, knowing or unknowing, our great fortune that we're somehow or another of this opportunity to be a part of this mission to spread the chanting of the holy name all over the world, even to the potatoes in the ground. Chant as you pick. Chant the holy name as much as we can. This is, how many times do we hear this again and again, and still we're a little lazy, maybe a little doubtful, maybe a little bit whatever, distracted, whatever it may be. Hare Krishna. It's getting late and you're going to be in trouble. Those who are supposed to be in some class now, and you haven't even eaten your bread, haven't even filled the tank. How will you go on your journey today with an empty tank? You're going to conk out if you're not careful. You took your breakfast, didn't you? Your wife did. You didn't take breakfast, did you? No. Oh my God. Well, you look like you've got a bit of reserve tank. You should survive. Lunch won't be far away. This is an unending topic, full of variations and different angles. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O Premanande. Jai. Sorry to keep everyone waiting. We only get one class a day, most of us. And some of us only one a week, and some none a week. So take advantage of it.